Okay, let's do some more FLL. So, this is FLL Lesson 77. Okay, 4 types of sentences. So we're just reviewing some pronouns. Perfect. So, this is a good time too if you haven't practiced height of the ridiculous in a while. And that's lesson 66 if you need to refer back. It's probably a good time to go back and practice memorizing it a little bit more. Okay, so let's review how to diagram commands and questions. So look at exercise 1. This is command. Gather salt crystals near the ocean. Okay. Gather salt crystals near the ocean. That's a command. Now we're going to try to diagram it, we will diagram it onto the empty frame in exercise 1. So first let's start with our verb. I like to start with our verb. So, gather salt crystals near the ocean. What is our verb here? Well, our verb is gather. So, gather salt crystals near the ocean. Put gather in your verb line. Be sure to capitalize gather because it's the first word in the sentence. Okay, gather what? Well, first, who's doing the gathering? Well, it doesn't say here who is doing the gathering. We don't have a subject here. Oh gosh, this shirt is really messy. I decided to dress up for you now. Still sloppy. Anyway, okay. So here, there's no subject in our sentence. That's because it's a command, and it is an understood you. So we put those in parentheses, right? We write you in parentheses. Because when you say, gather salt crystals by the ocean, or near the ocean, you're speaking to someone, and it's like you're saying, you gather salt crystals near the ocean. So it's an understood you, and that you goes in parentheses. So that's our subject. What are we gathering? What's our direct object? You gather what? You gather crystals. So crystals is our direct object, and we'll go to the right of the verb line. And we also have a prepositional phrase. Our prepositional phrase is near the ocean. So remember, on your slanted line under gather, you'll write your preposition, which is near. Near what? What's your object of the preposition? Near ocean. So ocean will go on that second line. And then the actually describes ocean. It acts as an adjective here. So the will go on the line under ocean. Okay? And then we have an adjective that describes the type of crystal. What kind of crystal is it? It's a salt crystal. So salt will go on the slanted line beneath crystal. Now look at exercise 2. Here's the question. Can you preserve food with salt? It's a question. So remember, when we're diagramming a question, we have to rearrange the words in the question. So instead of can you preserve food with salt, we rearrange the sentence to say you can preserve food with salt. We rearrange those words. But remember, when we diagram, we need to capitalize the first word in the actual sentence. So you won't capitalize you because that's our rearranged version. You'll still capitalize can. Okay, so first we need to find our verbs. Our verbs will be can and preserve. Can here is a helping verb, and preserve is an action verb. So can preserve, and remember can will be capitalized on your verb line. Can preserve. Well, who can preserve? What's our subject? Or who's our subject? You. You can preserve. Preserve what? What is our direct object? Preserve food. And then we have a preposition and an object of the preposition. With and salt. So under can preserve, you'll put your preposition with. With what? With salt. So salt will go on the slanted line coming off of with. All right. So now let's review some pronouns. A pronoun is a word used in the place of a noun. Say that again. Let's say it together. A pronoun is a word used in the place of a noun. So let's talk about some pronouns. I, me, my, mine, you, your, yours. He, she, him, her, it, his, hers, its, we, us, our, ours, they, them, their, theirs. Not the best hand motions, but best I can do right now. So a pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun. There's a special name for the noun that it's replaced. It's called the antecedent. Remember, ante means before. So antecedent is a word that comes before. So let's look at exercise 3, and we're going to circle our antecedents, and we're going to draw an arrow from our pronoun back to our antecedent. So number 1 is when Li Bing drilled a hole in the ground, he found an underground spring of very salty water. Okay? Our pronoun here is bold. It's he. Who's he? Well, he is Li Bing. And that is our antecedent. So be sure to circle Li Bing, or maybe it already is circled. And we're going to draw an arrow, or maybe you already have the arrow. But if you don't, draw the arrow from he back to Li Bing. If a pronoun replaces more than one person, place, thing, or idea, it can have more than one antecedent noun. So let's look at exercise 4. Roman fish sauce is made by combining fish intestines and salt in earthen jars until they ferment into a smelly liquid. That is literally my worst nightmare. I don't like fish. I can't even stand the smell of fish. I can't eat them. So that right there would be the ultimate gross meal for me. Fermented fish intestines with salt. Okay, so our pronoun is they. Well, what is they talking about? Roman fish sauce is made by combining fish intestines and salt in earthen jars until they ferment into a smelly liquid. What's fermenting? It's the fish intestines and the salt. So they is referring to both of those things together. Okay, let's look at exercise 5. The pronoun is in bold. We're going to find the antecedent and circle it, and then we'll draw an arrow from the pronoun to its antecedent. So, the first sentence in exercise 5. King Louis XIV of France raised taxes on salt for his people. His. Who is it talking about? Well, it's talking about King Louis XIV. So you'll circle King Louis XIV and draw an arrow from his back to King Louis XIV. I'm going to let you do the next 2 sentences on your own. You can pause me. I'm moving on to exercise 6. Okay, so personal pronouns can be divided into 3 groups: subject pronouns, object pronouns, and possessive pronouns. So possessive pronouns act like adjectives that tell whose. My, mine, your, yours, his, hers, its, our, ours, their, theirs. So now in exercise 6, we're going to circle the possessive pronoun that acts like an adjective that tells whose. Then we're going to draw an arrow to the noun it describes. So some of these possessive pronouns are actually predicate adjectives, so they come in the predicate and not in the subject. Just FYI. Okay, so the first one, his car shuddered and died. Ugh, that's not good. So his is our possessive pronoun, and what is it describing? His car. So we're going to circle his and draw an arrow from his to car. Let's do at least one more together. How many of these do you have? Yeah, let's do one more together. The house down the street is theirs. Okay, our possessive pronoun is theirs. What is theirs? The house. So we're going to circle theirs and draw back to house. Okay, now I would like you to try 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 on your own. Pause me, I'm going to move on, and then show it to a parent, have them look over and check it. Okay. The other two groups of personal pronouns are subject pronouns and object pronouns. So a subject pronoun is the pronoun that's typically used as the subject of a sentence. Object pronouns are used as either direct or indirect objects in a sentence. So let's read through the subject pronouns in exercise 7 and then the object pronouns. Subject pronouns are I. So I went to the store. He went to the store. She went to the store. We went to the store. And they went to the store. Those are all used in the subject. Now look at the object pronouns. What's a good sentence for this? The dog licked me. The dog licked him. The dog licked her. The dog licked us. The dog licked them. Good dog kisses. So notice there, the dog is the subject. Me, him, her, us, and them is used as the object. That's what's being licked. Okay, so subject pronouns are typically used as subjects. And you can also use a subject pronoun for predicate nominative, since it renames the subject. Object pronouns are used as objects, like direct objects, indirect objects, and objects of the preposition. So in exercise 8, we're going to circle both subject and object pronouns. We're going to write an S over them if they are a subject pronoun. We're going to write an O over it if it is an object pronoun. So let's do a couple of these together. Number 1, he played me a song on the piano. We have two pronouns, he and me. What's our subject? Our subject is he. So put an S over he, because it's a subject pronoun. He played me a song. Well, he played a song, so song is our direct object. He played me a song. So me is the indirect object, but it's an object. So put an O over it. Let's do one more together. I'm going to run out of time, I think. Maybe not. So number 2, it is I. That's funny. So this time we don't have an action verb, so we don't have a direct or an indirect object. Instead, we have a state of, well, actually it's a linking verb. So it is our subject pronoun. I is the noun in the predicate that's renaming the subject. Remember, we have, which is a predicate nominative. We have those if we have a linking verb, right? So they're actually both subject pronouns and not object pronouns because we don't have an object here. Go ahead and try 3, 4, and 5 on your own. Pause me and we're going to keep going. Okay, in addition to personal pronouns, we've also learned about demonstrative pronouns. This, that, these, and those. These pronouns demonstrate or point out something. Let's look at exercise 9. This is my favorite holiday. Now let's think about a noun which that could be true for. Easter. This is my favorite holiday. It is my favorite holiday. The pronoun this stands for the noun, Easter, that I chose. Now let's look at the rest of it. That is very noisy. These smell terrible. Those are very nutritious. Those demonstrative pronouns are standing in for something. And then I'm running out of time, so I'm very quickly going to go over I say interrogative, but it might be interrogative. I don't know where they put the stress on that syllable. But like, think of an interrogation when the cops are questioning a criminal. So interrogative or interrogative means asking a question. So you use these pronouns when you're asking a question. Who, what, which, who, whom, which, what, and whom are all interrogative pronouns. I'm going to run out of time. Sorry, that was brief.